A controversial court ruling that ordered the release of excavators seized from illegal miners has been overturned. The initial decision sparked nationwide outrage, with environmental advocates and media figures condemning it as devastating setback in Ghana's fight against deforestation and ecocide, now threatening to reverse years of hard-won progress. Now, as call for a state of emergency in the forest reserve intensify, the case has raised urgent questions about judicial accountability. Let me speak briefly to the convener for the National Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Kanashigbe. So, Dr. Ashigbe, this latest ruling reversing the earlier order obviously will come to you as good news.
Says that radio gets results, and the fact that the advocacy of the media works. But it raises very fundamental questions, really great questions. So the question, if you read the ruling that was given initially by the judge, it tells you that an application, an affidavit might have been filed. The question you ask, was that served on the prosecution? Was that served on the police? And then in the ruling, you don't get any mention of the prosecutor. So it will be important for the IGP to investigate whether this was served on the prosecutor, whether the prosecutor was in court or not. And the question you would want to ask, reading this second ruling that have vacated the very bad ruling that the judge did, you know, the case was even filed in the court with wrong jurisdiction. The Minerals and Mining Act gives the High Court the jurisdiction over these cases. So the question you ask is that why was the case first filed even in the wrong court? And how is it that this judge is telling us that he did not know about the Minerals and Mining Act? He did not know about the airline that talks about the tracking of excavators and all of that, and did not know that if a crime is committed, you would want to keep the exhibit with the police before, before the case is heard. So this thing requires investigations by the Chief Justice on the conduct of this judge and then this magistrate, and also an investigation on the conduct of the police. The police prosecutors who handled this case, who filed this case in the wrong court, whether they were in court when that application that we had that got the judge to make that such a poor decision, whether that was done. But at least it is important for all those who have been advocating to realize the fact that our advocacy achieves results. And so we should not be quiet. When these things happen, we need to speak about them, and we need to be vociferous about it. So this one does not end just with the reversal of the decision. We need to ensure that those excavators are brought back, and we need to make sure that Mr. Musu and his 3 colleagues who have been found and the 2 who are on the run are all brought in, and then, prosecution happens. And if they are found guilty, because on the face of it, if you see the pictures that were had, the fact that they were found in the forest reserve without a license, with excavators which they, I'm sure, had not registered with the Minerals Commission and all of that, and were engaging in an illegality within a forest reserve, right away from the Forest Act all the way to the Minerals and Mining Act, to Act 995, the Minerals and Mining Act as amended in 2020, we should be able to throw the book at them and make sure we put them at the deepest of the courts.
I mean, it's interesting, and then sometimes you wonder whether we are getting help from the courts in terms of the fight against illegal mining. Over the weekend, for example, a mining pit led to the death of 2 individuals, some injured. There's the issue of the Western North Regional Minister as to whether he tried to halt the operations of the Forestry Commission. Last year, for example, some Chinese nationals were involved in illegal mining, arrested, taken to court. The next court appearance, they did not show up. The police response to the court was that they died. The court says, bring me the death certificate. We are here to see the death certificate. I mean, you wonder whether other interest groups also to help in the fight are really on board in this exercise.
Unfortunately, Elton, a lot of the people who are involved in it are either complicit or are incompetent. So the issue of that police prosecutor who then said that these Chinese people had died and had been cremated, we should be asking the IGP what has happened to him. We should be asking, for disciplinary action to be taken against this particular judge, against the prosecutors who were involved in this particular issues. And then also, it is the reason why when we ask for the state of emergency to be imposed in the forest reserves and on the water bodies, because of all of these lives that are being lost and all of that, His Excellency should please listen to us. And it is also very important that currently the petition that we have asking that the LI 2462 should be revoked, that petition, now I'm sure we have crossed over 2,700 people haven't signed the petition. His Excellency should be listening to us and ask his government. The MPDC has absolute majority in Parliament. They should arrest that amendment that is currently in Parliament and replace it with a revocation instrument. And all of that also have to be revoked. But it is really going to be important that the police people, the prosecutors, the investigators, who find themselves in these mining areas, there should be a complete transfer. And most of them are either complicit or some of them are incompetent. Whatever be the case, they've been so familiar with this mining thing that they are not supporting the action. You know, that required. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is working his socks out to be able to get these things happening. His agencies are working to make sure these things happen. You currently have a Forestry Commission staff who is at Konfuanochi fighting for his life because he was butchered by these mercenaries that are guarding this illegal mining operation. We are at a crossroads, and the door to fight this calamity is closing on us. And all of us need to support the government, point out to them where they are going wrong, to make sure that we can arrest this situation, which has now become a major national security concern that we need to arrest because of the fact that we now have a lot of foreign mercenaries, you know, working with local collaborators who are now protecting these illegal miners, mostly in the forest reserves.
Let's leave it here for now. Dr. Ken Ashigbe is convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Let me take